I agree with that. I'm just not sure that I would say that if it weren't for blacks, there wouldn't be a democracy at all.
Well, we know how we got democracy. It was through a decades-long black resistance struggle called the Civil Rights Movement. That is a black rights struggle. So you may not like the framing, but what I can tell you is the Double V for Victory campaign was black people were fighting in an army. They were going overseas. They were dying to liberate other countries and then coming home and being lynched for wearing their uniform. They were coming home and they could not vote. They were coming home and they could see German prisoners of war going into restaurants and being served where they could not be served.
I completely agree with all of that.
Right, but you want to treat that as a marginal to the American story. But you can't call yourself the greatest democracy and the greatest democratizing force in the country while violently and brutally suppressing democracy at home. And that's what happened for millions of American citizens.
Here's where I take some objection. You're talking about, if you say the country, that we were fighting for democracy overseas and we were not living it, walking the walk, talking the talk at home, I completely agree with you. But you specifically say the greatest generation brutally suppressing, many of this generation brutally suppressing democracy for millions of Americans. To me, and I think Tom Brokaw, when he originally wrote the book, The Greatest Generation, was talking about 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds who came out of the farm fields of the Midwest, who came out of ethnic neighborhoods in Brooklyn and South Philly and stormed the beaches of Normandy and fought to defeat the worst regime, I would argue, in world history, and to say that they were 20, 30-year-olds. The country was brutally suppressing blacks, but the greatest generation wasn't.
Well, they were.
I mean, they weren't. You're telling me that a kid coming off a farm in Indiana or a kid who came from Brooklyn was suppressing
so Indiana
black
had
people?
the largest population of the Klan in the United States. The Klan was
I understand, but that wasn't a 20-year-old kid who
You don't think
risked his
20-year-olds
life.
were in the Klan?